Welcome to Sunday Energizer, everyone. And excuse the beep, everyone arrives, but I don't know how to take that one off yet. But at least we know that one more person has arrived. I don't expect a lot of people here this morning because of Mother's Day, but welcome. It's so wonderful to share this space with you this morning. Thank you for your presence, to share this experience with me. I'm so excited this morning to share what I've received to share with you because, lately it's become sometimes a bit daunting because, I've been teaching most of the children in my school for and they have become all emotional as a mother for maybe 20 years now. And, when you teach the same people for 20 years, it can become a challenge to keep the message fresh and interesting and appropriate. So thank you, all of you, for challenging me the way you do, for sticking around as long as you do. It's a great honor. So let me also start with some duplication, which is the clarification of purpose. I'd like to start with that every time when we do a session, because it just reassures you why you're here and what this space is all about. I teach best what I mostly need to learn. So this is not a place where I'm sitting in judgment of you, or I think that I know more than you, because that's not the case. We are all in the same process in life. Certainly not in the same boat. I think we need to get out of these lifeboats urgently. So, I teach best what I most need to learn, and there's no advice here, and I'm not dictating, and there's no judgments and no criticism, or I'm telling you what's wrong with your life and now you have to go and do some work on it. No. Yeah, we deal with truth, and truth is effortless because it's what is. There's no opinions, only truth. And, which gives you opportunities for realizing your potential. Because, potential is not something that you're going to arrive at one day and then you've realized your potential. Potential is a daily process in which you will discover, your own greatness, because potential is just greatness manifested, isn't it? So no matter how hard it gets, you can potentially thrive. When your attitude is great, all you need is a great attitude. And you know what great attitude, where that comes from? It comes from the word gratitude. So, the more you give yourself the opportunity to appreciate yourself and your life, the more you're going to have a great attitude. So when your attitude is great, you stay aligned with your highest good. And you can ask what your highest good is, but your highest good is what makes you clever, because it makes you choose well. Because your highest good is the stuff that works. It works for you. Because we're living on a planet where everything is about work. So, I owe, it's off to work, I go, that one, Seven Dwarfs, So be good to yourself. Choose clever, choose well. That's what it means to be aligned, because you want things to work for you. You are on a planet of work, but you don't have to participate in having to get the menial stuff done. There are people that have incarnated on the planet in terms of the way that life works, that does those things. The bees make honey. I was just talking about the honey in my coffee this morning, and the bees work for us to give us honey. It works like that. We work, they work, we all work together. That's a planet of work. So let's all give permission to receive our utmost highest best today. I give myself permission to receive my highest good. Give me, Charlotte, permission to support you, to receive your highest good, because it's important to receive support. And give yourself permission to be pleasantly surprised. Because if you come and sit in this place like this, then clearly you want to be pleasantly surprised. I mean, really, Let's see. Yeah, I can do active cameras today. Wonderful. So then you want to give yourself permission to be pleasantly surprised. So, and you must say that often during the day, as often as you can remember. I give myself permission to be pleasantly surprised, and trust me, my word is my honor, you will. You'll be pleasantly surprised. So today, I want to talk to you about permission. How's that? Permission. Yes, permission. I want to do a whole session today in Energizer on permission. Oh, I've got yellow fingers. Do you know why? This is not from smoking, please. Pratish visited me last night with a wonderful gift from Energiser and wonderful curry. And then when I eat, because you've got to eat it with your hands, it's like, what is that? Tandoori chicken roasted on an open fire with these wonderful spices. And then it definitely turns my fingers yellow because that's from the turmeric, I'm sure. But, oh, I don't mind. So please excuse my yellow finger. Please, they are from pure pleasure, enjoying the wonders of India, because the food from India is just unsurpassed. So the dictionary gives us this definition and this clarification of permission. It's an interesting thing, we don't often think of permission. For us has got such a negative connotation because we associate it with negative reinforcement first and foremost, because permission was mostly obtained through negative reinforcement from the time that we were born. So the action, it says permission is the action of officially allowing someone to do a particular thing. So it's a consent or authorization. And if someone is given permission to do something, they are allowed to do it. So then you have permission, you can do it. That is a sense of, almost a sense of freedom, especially in the way that we live life, when you have permission to, some people get special permission, like parking in a bay, whether it's only for disabled people, and that is permission. So you are allowed to do it. And then that makes you feel free, like, wow, I've got special permission. And a lot of people thrive on special permission. That's why you get VIP tickets and VIP seats, because it's very special permission, and you can only access there if you are very important. So permission is something that governs our life on a daily basis in so many ways, but we don't think of it. So that's why I want to talk to you, because when we give permission, we let something happen, we permit it, we authorize it, we give it the go-ahead. We can even say that we give it our buy-in. Because, everything's about consumerism, now. Buy-in. Pay for it. That one. You owe. Okay. So you can now see what an integral aspect permission is. Not control. That's where permission goes wrong, when it becomes control. And I was reminiscing this morning about an experience I had with a family where the entire process went haywire because of control. The mother was not prepared to release control. And then it never happens the way you think. But control is not the same as permission. And parents reassure themselves because they want to be in control. And that's how they do parenthood. But parenthood is not control, it's permission. That's a very big difference. When you shift, when you give your children their life to live, and you shift out of control and you give them permission to live life. Because that's what we need. I give myself permission to receive my highest good, because that's how we're meant to live life. Receiving the good that is meant for us. That's the way it was designed. The process was here before you arrived, but no one gives permission. And because your permission is absent, I'm telling you now, it doesn't happen, because it cannot happen without your permission. You are sovereign. You are the only one who's living your reality. No one else can think for you. No one else can can chew your food for you and taste it like you can do it. No one else can swallow for you. No one else can breathe for you. Only you. Only you can hear for you. Yes, these days you can have, technology that can speak for you and that can read for you and that can do things for you, but it's not the same as your own experience. And for that, we need permission. And we really I realized so many things with this longest flu that I've ever suffered with, that I'm processing, also for reasons of my own permission, which I will share with you later. But how I can see how I just never gave permission for my body to heal. All I did was complain about being ill and complain about how sick I feel. And there was reason to complain because it was severe. But I only gave permission last week, after months. Then I thought to myself, but you asking for something to receive it that you haven't even put into your reality. It doesn't exist because you didn't give it. That's how we create life. If you are not going to be the one that's going to give the permission, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying that you now got to sit all day long, give permission, give permission, give permission. No, give permission for an umbrella. I give myself permission to be pleasantly surprised. I mean, wow. Imagine that. Activating that in the process. Because it's there, it's just got to be switched on. It's like a light switch. But it's on off because you don't even use it. That's why I want to talk to you today about permission. There are several factors to consider when we explore this subject. And I really sat most of yesterday when I wrote this. And I sat most of yesterday and I considered the subject. I'm not just sitting here spilling a bunch of words because I want to impress you with how clever I am. No, I go and read and I go look and I go find, and Spirit guides me to find what I need to share with you. That's how I work, and everyone in my school knows that. This is not a place of intellect. Place of deep and timeless wisdom that you need to remember. Because I can't teach it to you. But it's about the laws of eternity. Because it's the laws of eternity that is going to liberate us, not technology and science. I can tell you that. I'm sure technology and science has a part to play, and I'm not dismissing it. Because we need to understand things. And we need to progress with things. But the laws of eternity is what governs all of that anyway. Without the laws of eternity, none of the things in science or in technology will work. So these laws govern our planet and everything on it. Nothing, no one is exempt. The laws of eternity was there since the beginning. Who and why they're there, it's not important. They operate and they work, and we must honor them. Why do we need to understand who created them? The river cannot ever run without its source. And it's not going to be necessary for every river that you encounter in the world to go and look for its source in order to know that there's a river. Huh? You must know the river starts with a source. But you can look and appreciate the river, the flow, the process of life, the river of life. So, no one is exempt from this process of the laws of eternity. And this is what is imperative now, and why people are on a journey into themselves to remember the eternal laws of eternity. Because the laws of eternity is harbored within the deepest recesses of our own being. Because the more you discover and you remember the very laws of eternity, the more powerful you will be. Because obviously, if you're going to know the laws of eternity, you will honor them. Otherwise, they won't be revealed to you. It's your own vibration. And this is not stuff that is written in any book somewhere. No. It is only imparted by word of mouth and by communication, presence. There is a new approach to everyday life. It's available for all of us, but it requires your permission, and it requires your buy-in, and it requires your devotion to yourself, not to a thing or a process or a path or a religion, but to yourself, to the representation of this great permission that you are in this world, because with permission we create reality together. As a man thinketh, so it shall be unto him. What you sow, you reap. Those are eternal laws that nothing can change. It requires your permission. What does permission look like in real life? In real life, every day, permission looks like your willingness. So with your permission, you can step into magic, not woo-woo shit, not pie in the sky stuff. This is not what this is about. I told you earlier, this is about truth. But truth has a magic aspect to it. Why? Because it presents you with amazing, breathtaking, breakthrough moments. I don't know, you can't explain it with words, you can only experience it. That makes life worth living. Things that our intellect and our understanding of things doesn't have the capacity or the ability to explain. That's the adventure of living life, not the stuff that makes everything known, not Google, not information, not information is available everywhere today. Information is not a prized object. Information is 6 by the dozen. And information is not knowledge. So be firmly grounded in living your everyday life. But you may object that it's a very difficult life. In your, the thoughts that happen in your head goes, oh shit, it's a very difficult life. Wow, because for some of us it is a difficult life. It's a difficult life until you surrender to what I'm explaining to you, because it's going to work whether you adjust to it, whether you agree to it or not. That's the way it works. And those people that go, nah, it's okay. You can have that opinion. But it doesn't mean that you must, annihilate those who don't share your opinion. There are millions and trillions and uncountable options, infinite, for anything. Because it's the vastness of creation that operates now as we're talking here. When you object and you think that your life is difficult, you shift yourself out of living. Because that's what everything becomes. It becomes heavy and difficult. So now, the reality of shifting challenges, where we are living now in this epoch of time, the time now that you are born in, that you are alive, this is the time you've chosen to incarnate in this body. And incarnation is real, whether you believe it or not. It's real. Why it's like that, I don't know. I can't tell you. I think it's very strange, but that's the way it is. Because I'll only ever have this body once. I can incarnate with this body, this life, only once. This opportunity, only once. This level of permission, only once. The reality of shifting challenges can now be alchemized and transformed into recognizing that life is really good. That this is truly a planet of bounty, of prosperity, of good stuff, of my highest good. And this is a highly practical approach based on living everyday life. Living this way is our reward. It's the reward of the people that share this path with me in this community. Because it's simply just a journey that we all like pilgrims. We just undertake this journey to discover and explore new continents, like they now want to go and explore Mars. It's in our nature. We want adventure. But we forget that the real adventure is within, not external, not traveling the world, but being able to travel inside, within yourself, and to discover the vastness of your own being. That's what's important. Not to always have the right answer and to know, be in the know. Information is cheap. But wisdom is priceless. Constant results reward us here in our school. Because this is a school of mystery. It's a mystery school. Here, life is a grand adventure. It's a grand mystery adventure with infinite possibilities. And that's what we allow us. That's what we become available for within ourselves, not out there, in here, to discover the vastness of adventures that is beyond description. And that was the process of Dr. Carl Gustav Jung in his writings, in his books, but he had to keep it within the context of being a psychiatrist. But if you explore his work and you explore the way that he understood the human psyche, it's just brilliant. But he was willing to journey within, and that's why he can share it the way he does. He locked himself up in that tower in Bollingham for months on end and didn't see a single person. They gave him his food under the door. Well, I'm sure it wasn't that bad, but close. He didn't have anything to do with the world. He went within. So constant results reward us with a good life when we become aware of the importance that the treasures are not outside of us but within us, and it needs to happen with our permission. And you've got to teach your children that they have a very important power, a very important prowess to govern their own life, and that is permission. But that permission is not constantly to control the performance and doings of others. The permission is for your own performance, for your own potential to be realized. I give myself permission to receive my highest good. It's not about what other people do. It's about what's meant for you. So often it is in times of crisis, at great turning points in our lives, and let me tell you, I've had many. I've given myself many. The death of my son. It's a great turning point in any parent's life to lose a child. Or when we face our own mortality because we lose a loved one. I was thinking of Tracy as a mother today that's not here to be with her children because her journey continued and she needed to move on. That's the way it is. But we are never separate, and that's what I want to talk to you about today with our permission. But when we face our own mortality and that of loved ones, that we become vibrantly alive, awake, that we become present in the moment and aware of the great mystery that life is. Crisis wakes us up to change, full stop. There's no other way. And life is always a grand mystery with infinite number of possibilities. But it's in these moments that we glimpse our true potential when we need to deal with severe crisis. And when we need to make decisions thinking on our feet, sometimes we have to make choices running. There's not even time to stop. And unfortunately, technology and science is not going to take that away from this planet because it's the way it's worked here since the beginning. You have to sometimes make choices running, whether you're running away from something that's threatening your life, whether you're running because you are taking part in the comrades, whether you're running because you're doing triathlon, but it's endurance. This is a planet of endurance. If you do not give yourself the ability to go and have the endurance to finish the race, you don't make it. It's not my rule. It's one of the laws of eternity. But it's in these moments when you push yourself with endurance, even if you have to endure a crisis, that you glimpse your true potential. It's not stuff to frown upon. It's opportunities for you to see your own greatness. In moments where you grasp and where you glimpse your true potential with awareness is normally when things happen that you go beyond thinking, like when a petite woman lifts a car to rescue a trapped child. Where superhuman strength becomes possible in a body where you walk over fire and your feet don't burn. When someone is terminally ill with cancer or with COVID, and they have the power to heal themselves. My Reiki teacher, for instance, that I did Reiki with, I think it was 1991, and she's in the lineage of the Usui Reiki. Her name is quite high up because she spent a month in the Alps getting her mastership with her teacher. It's not done that way anymore. So she taught us Reiki, and it's that. I've just lost my train of thought because my mind just went to the Alps, and there I was sitting next to a fire in the snowy mountains with the cold wind blowing, and now I've lost my complete train of thought. Is there someone in the group that can give me just a hint of what I was saying before I lost my train of thought here? Same, sorry, that you also dimensionalize into that space. I was so present in that moment with that sacredness going on. I was not here anymore. Dimensionality. Who can tell me what that is? Does anyone know?
I think you want to say what your Reiki teacher taught you in 1991.
Yeah, but that's what I forgot, what she taught me. So I'm not sure if I meant to share it. So I need to know what I said just before that triggered the thought about healing myself. Okay, thank you, Sari. About healing.
Cancer and healing. So you were talking about cancer and healing and COVID and.
I got it. So the importance of healing your body is becoming more and more. Can you see the permission that is needed from you to keep your body healthy now in the times that we're living in? And that, just the same as with Reiki, my Reiki teacher was told that she had 3 months to live. Thanks, Lauren. Me too. She had lymphatic cancer. So they gave her 3 months to live because they said that the cancer had infiltrated all her lymph nodes. She was completely, because if it's in your lymph, it's throughout your entire body, also in your brain. So she was given 3 months to live, and she's still alive today. She lives in White River. She's still alive today, and she's the most wonderful teacher. So she was supposed to be dead. So my flu, I'm giving my body permission now to be strong and to fight this flu because I refuse to take antibiotics. Not with chemicals, because if my body is not strong enough anymore by itself to fight the disease that it's attacking it, then I shouldn't be here. That's why there's a population problem, because people are no longer living by their own immune systems. Their immune systems are chemically maintained. That's not the way of this earth. It's not the way it's meant to be here. And that's why they've now introduced, or why we've now, nature, whoever, has introduced COVID in order to change that process back to the way it's supposed to be. But now we do everything we can again to circumvent it. So you've got to fight the infection by giving permission for your body to be healed, for your body to be healthy. And your body is a miracle device with capabilities beyond your wildest dreams. This physical body, this system that you've been given permission of to govern, because everything here is listening to you in your own body. And where the mind goes, the body follows. And your body is capable, like I said, you can walk over burning hot coals and not burn yourself. You can heal yourself from, my teacher, there's a physical person that I know that healed herself completely from having terminal cancer. So your body is a miracle device. Start today to give your body permission to work for you. Let your body do things for you that is going to support you to grow, but not in the way that you've been treating your body so far. We face crisis in any situation when we resist change normally. And our bodies become ill because we are mercilessly driving it to deliver. And when I say mercilessly driving it, you drive yourself merciless. And how do you do that? By all the demands that you have of yourself. I mean, just look at the level of criticism that you level at yourself every day. For not doing this, for not having that, blah, 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 blah. Criticize, 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 criticize. Not good enough. Not making it, not making the grade, being a failure. Bah, 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 bah. What are you actually giving permission for when you speak like that to yourself? You can't have those kinds of communication and expect yourself to feel good about your life. We are gifted then when we do that with events that force us to slow down. And then we even frown on those. All we do when we need to slow down like that, all we need to do is we need to do nothing more than to just catch up with our soul. That's all. It's like you've left a part of you behind. You can call that soul, you can call that being, you can call that inner self, whatever name you want to give it. It's just a semantic. But you need to accept and to acknowledge that you are leaving parts of yourself behind in your process of life that you cannot live without. Because you go into denial of those parts of yourself because you think that that's what makes you bad, or that's what makes you, I don't know, insignificant, but those are the deepest parts of yourself, but they are frowned upon in this world. Your vulnerability, your true self, your authentic self is most of the time according to yourself, because it's not normally true. Is excluded, is rejected, is betrayed, is abandoned, is humiliated. No. That's the way you choose to experience it, by the permission that you give. It might not, maybe it is like that, I don't know, but why do you need to give permission for it to continue into your life every day? In everything you do, it infiltrates and it makes you feel as if you are, as if there's something wrong with you, something wrong with your life, because you left a part of you behind through betrayal, through rejection, through, I don't know, through some external choice that you now just allow to impact your life like that every day, subliminally, unconsciously. And in our journey together in the school, we constantly explore what those things are that we've left behind, because we don't know that we don't know. You need to be in the presence of someone that can stimulate your thinking to remember. That's why depth psychology exists. It stimulates you, and you even termed the phrase active imagination, so that you can remember the truth, the eternal laws, not your truth or mine, truth, the way it works. Because when you can integrate again the way it works, because that's the way it works, then your life is good. And life cares for life. Life wants to be good to you when you remember, when you become one with the laws of eternity. Within yourself, in here, not out there. Out there is not important. In here is priority. Then out there becomes a magic carpet ride. Amazing. Paradise. Bounty. Life cares for life. You are not living life. You are life. Accept that. It's real. There's no other reality like yours. There's the proof in your fingerprints, in the retina of your eyes, in the smell of your body. Your body odor is unique. There's no other person or animal or thing that smells like you. Our olfactive sense is the strongest sense in the body because we smell each other. But we forget. We don't give ourselves permission to live those intuitive, primal, instinctive aspects of ourselves. And please, I'm not advocating now that you need to go and do terrible things, because you can take this information any which way you want. Truth doesn't have any qualms about what's right or wrong. Truth is just truth. The bread knife can cut bread in the kitchen and perform wonderful functions, cut the Sunday roast, but it can also kill someone. The bread knife doesn't choose what's going to be done with it. It's just being a knife. It doesn't have the ability to give permission like you do. You are a higher level of consciousness. You have the will and the ability to give permission, to choose. Here this morning, you get an opportunity to make quantum shifts in your soul. And already I'm seeing on the screen, poor network connection, poor network connection. Why, I don't know, because I've got very good signal here, very good networks. So what it's saying to me is it doesn't want me to record the session. It wants you to be present. Because the only way that it's affecting is going to be through the recording. Because we've given permission for our highest good. This space is protected. We've protected it by our own permission. Here this morning, you get the opportunity to make quantum shifts in your soul if you give permission. If you give permission for that to happen, my word is my honor, you walk out tomorrow. You walk out from here this morning feeling pleasantly surprised in what you've realized and what you've discovered within yourself, what you've remembered. Because you made the effort to be here. You came here to participate. A small investment of presence. Small. It's not taking a lot from you. 1.5 hours of your day. Last night in the You Master class, there was a guy, he's a very, he's an elderly man because he's got grey hair, but he's one of those hippie, he's got the long, proper cut hair with the bearded stuff, but it's all white. That typical Californian look because he's from California. But you can see he's sitting in one of those, those Californian homes that you can see the background is all these paintings and, these different levels. And you can see he's in one of those big houses. So anyway, I don't know who he is, but he looks very much like a film star. So he sat in the class and he said, I wake up to come sit here at 1 a.m. in the morning. Because we're doing a process at the moment called The Secret of the Golden Flower. It's a process that was written in 1920. So there's a whole book on it. You can go look for the book, The Secret of the Golden Flower. So this man is now joining us at 1 a.m. in the morning. So he says, I come here at 1 a.m. in the morning. He says, but there's a big difference for me. I can listen to this recording, he says. And I can, because we get the recording tomorrow already, you have the recording of the session. It's given to us on Vimeo. Because we are part of, you buy into the we've been given this as free for the masterclass students, but the people that buy the course, you get, it's a one that they run it beautifully, these online processes in the school. Amazing. Very expensive, but amazing. So he says it's an exceptional presence that I receive when I come here. He says, because we have a class every 2 weeks on a Saturday afternoon. He says, I come here, the last one I missed. I didn't see the class, I wasn't in the class. He says, and I started feeling overwhelmed by the process, by the course. Because there's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And it's all introspection. Constant introspection. And he said that I lost touch with the class because I wasn't present. He says, and it gave me such a lesson in how important it is for me to be present and not just to listen to this on the recording, which I can do because 1 a.m. in the morning is not convenient. Because, he's only going to get to bed at 3:30. So, but he explained presence, and I thought, thank you, Spirit. Because I always insist on presence, and I say, just give yourself that gift to be present. It makes such a difference. And here, truth validates. The most wonderful experience. I can't order that. That's the gift of truth that talks to me. So at such times, we rise above the mundaneness of everyday life, as if we are awakening from a sleep, and we step into the magic, the mystery, the wondrous adventure that is there all along. It patiently awaits our permission. It's there now, but you've never given permission for it. It's not going to happen without your permission. Your authority is absolute. Why? Because your choice is clear. We can create a future of doom and gloom, of fear and despair, of lack and scarcity, of violence and destruction, or we can, yes, we can with our own permission. We can with our willingness. We can create step by step, one step at a time, not everything at once. We can create a future of consideration, of collaboration, of caring, of generosity and cooperation. What is cooperation other than consideration? What is cooperation other than collaboration? It is unity. A togetherness that can only be experienced. And once you experience it, you know that you cannot live your life without it. There's no separation there. There's a togetherness, delivering us to a truly sacred space within ourselves where we can belong. Because belonging is what you're looking for more than anything. Just to find a place on this earth where you can belong. And not just belong, but belong. Have a long and meaningful life. I wish you a long life, my friend. Thank you for your presence here today. Life is a gift. Respect for our earth is in urgent need of our permission. The earth is doing so much to catch our attention at the moment, to tell us how bad things really are for her. She's causing havoc. And all everybody can do is just to say how bad she is and what terrible things she's doing to us. No. She's telling us how bad things are, out of alignment everywhere. And we just don't listen. We don't even see it. We blame it, but we don't see it. Those pictures of those beaches in Natal, with all the stuff that was just dumped on the beach. Can no one see the message? They complain about the dirty beach. We are literally the authority who gives our permission to either create heaven or hell. And we can wallow in the darkness and victimness of our own permission too. Or we can take a quantum leap into the light. Easy peasy. So permission, how does it currently play out in your life? You are not thinking about it as permission. That's the difference. Your quest is actually to accept and own what is true. Own it. Let it belong to you. How do you currently let it belong to you? Through ownership, through friendship, through relationship, through stewardship, through partnership. Look how we describe this togetherness. Look, it's in our language. The permission to belong. Isn't that ownership? Isn't that friendship? Isn't that relationship? Isn't that stewardship? Isn't that partnership? The permission to belong. Even apprenticeship. But it's a permission to own and accept as a ship. Huh? We're living with current technology and we still describe our togetherness as a ship. Why? We are navigating this life every moment. Navigating was always associated with the passage of a ship. Sailing the oceans of our world. And our world is 70% water anyway, just like our bodies. Navigation is all about permission, people. My peeps, navigation is all about permission. Interestingly, navigation is an absolute process of change. Look at it. If you're navigating, you are constantly changing the direction. If you're the navigator in a rally drive, you are constantly changing the direction for the driver. That's what makes the driver successful. He's a good navigator. It's the navigator that wins the race, not the driver. The driver just delivers. The navigator is the permission, and the navigator is the change. So we actually all are in a process of releasing ancient wisdom to the outside world. That is permission in action. I'll say it to you again. This is for me what life is all about. A process of releasing your ancient wisdom to the outside world. That is permission in action. Your permission. Your life doesn't work without your permission. As we lost touch with our wisdom, our inner knowing, our true self, we began trusting more and more on external authorities, giving your power away. We turned to science and technology for solutions to our problems, as we seek permission from external sources of how to live the good life. And mostly by comparison, we do that. That only takes us deeper into despair. The more you compare, the more you feel despair. I didn't even know that I was a poet. The more you compare, the more you despair. Thank you, Spirit. I love that. Permission from external sources of how to live a good life. Think about that every day. And then you add a good dose of criticism to that too, because you're not managing and you're not good enough. With your permission, nogal. Hence, we came to believe through negative reinforcement from birth in a world of separation, in a world of separateness, that you are separate from. A world of struggle because of separateness, because you are here and what you want over there. It's always separate from you. You think in terms of space because you are in here and everything else is out there. That's the truth. But it's not separateness. It's not struggle. It's not suffering. It's not fear. In which this physical world is the only dimension we accept and give permission to exist, which is what most people do. If I can't touch it, I can't believe in it. If I can't hold it, it doesn't exist. This so-called separateness is the root of our misery. The distance between here and there is the root of your mystery, your misery. The distance between here and there is the root of your misery. It's separateness. So you can by now summarize and gather and see and identify. We need permission for some radical change. One of the ways that I advocate this radical change in your life is through the 4 agreements, which I share when I share with you Gift of Life. Here are some excellent options for your permission. The 4 agreements. I'll start with do not assume. When you assume, you are thinking on behalf of another person. You assume what they feel, you assume what they're thinking, you assume what they're doing, you assume what they're deciding, you assume. Do not assume. That's not available to think on behalf of others. Trust yourself and look at the results. The results will always show you the truth. And we don't always like to see the results because we don't always want to accept the results. But the results is the truth. And there's always a gift in the truth. Next, the next agreement is do not take anything personally. That's a very, very hard one to live because let me tell you, I take most things personally still because I've learned to care that way. I feel it myself first, and then I feel what I will feel in a situation like that. That's what it means for me to take it personally. I feel it first. I feel what the other person is feeling. I take it personally. So I'm learning not to do that. But don't take things personally. It's not always, someone is not always out to get you. Someone's not always out to make you feel as if you're bad. Sometimes the truth doesn't feel nice, but it's still the truth. But you must have the courage to look. Because thank you for caring enough about me to tell me the truth. Those are the people that you want to share your life with, not people that just tell you what you want to hear. Superficial shit. Associate yourself with truth. That's what's special. The next agreement is to be impeccable with your word. And I use the term, it's for me the same, but for me I say be sacred with your word. And these days I want to stress to you today to please, again, look at your timekeeping. Look at how you're sacred with your word with time. Because time is a great way of showing respect. To arrive on time. Because it's difficult to arrive on time these days. And please, I'm not judging you. I'm also regularly late. Because I don't respect time the way I used to. Oh, it's traffic, it's this, it's that. No. I want to make a concerted effort to communicate time and to respect other people's time. To be sacred with my word. In a big situation at the moment with someone that's about timekeeping. And I just absolutely refuse to deal with someone who constantly stands me up and I arrive for our appointment and they just don't pitch. And then they've got lots of excuses. No, it's the wrong day. I overslept. Whatever. No, you respect my time because I respect yours. That's sacred with your word. And that's a place where I ask you all today to please consider and become sacred with your word with time. It's one of the first places that we have to show our respect to each other. Last but not least in the 4 agreements is to do your best. Then you know what's enough. When you do your best and you give your best, you really are being good to yourself. You really are. Then you know, when you know I've done my best. Best doesn't always look the same, but you know that you've done your best. And yeah, I've done my best. Then you are enough. You know what enough means. That's how trust is born. Because you always know, I can trust myself. I've done my best. That's one of the 4 agreements that really does turn life around. The more you trust, the more power your permission has. And that's what delivers us to wonder and joy. That's what delivers us to a place of wonder and joy. I had something here that I wanted to read to you. Okay, let me just look at the time, right? Don't want to keep you too long this morning. So I want you to share this journey with me. It's a little journey, short journey. We used to always share this journey when I was in the practical school, the School of Practical Philosophy. I loved going for lectures there. But they would not let me continue because I refused to meditate with a mantra. So I had to leave the school. But let's share this wonderful meditation that they shared with us in that it's a beautiful experience. I loved being there. So first, let the mind be free of any concern or preoccupation. Isn't that beautiful? Let the mind be free of any concern or preoccupation. And let is a way to give permission. I let it be. I let it happen. Let the mind be free of any concern or preoccupation. Let the mind fall still and come to rest within. Let the mind be still and come to rest within. Be aware of where you are now. Feel the touch of your feet on the ground, or the weight of your body on the chair or on the bed if you're lying down. Feel the touch of clothes on the skin, or the linen of the bed touching. And the play of air on the face and hands. There's a gentle nip in the air today. If they are open, let the eyes receive color from without any comment. Just let your eyes receive color without any comment. Look at this beautiful color that I received as a gift from Sons and Little Person. Isn't it magnificent? Look at this rose. Beautiful color. Let your eyes perceive color and form without any comment. Taste. Smell. Be fully here. Now be aware of hearing. Let sounds be received and let them rise and fall without comment or judgment of any kind. With the body completely relaxed, let the hearing run right out to the furthest and gentlest sounds, embracing all. Simply rest in this great awareness for a few moments, embracing all. Thank you. Just bring yourself back to this present moment consciousness to hear my voice. Be present today, the 8th of May, together here in our sacred space. So let's ask the question of ourselves now. What is this teaching me? What am I listening to so far with what Charlotte is sharing this morning? What is it teaching me? Do a short integration so far. The importance of integration is creating cohesion. You are the catalyst. So give permission for all things to be in its proper place, where it belongs, with respect. We are on earth, and we are on earth to be alive. To remain alive, we must cultivate. I'm going to say that to you again. We are on earth, yeah, and we are here to be alive. It's a fact. It's what life is about. That's what Alan Watts says. The only real reason to be here is to be alive. To remain alive, we must cultivate. And cultivate means to support, to grow. Support activates and enlivens a participation, always. Where there's support, you'll always see participation. Where support is present, there's natural participation, always. The changes we now give permission for must cultivate tranquility, to be part of, to return to unity. With self, with others, with life. To transcend the need for external permission, for separateness, for dividedness, for I don't know, whatever words we chose over the eons. Trust your truth. Trust your intuition. Trust your inner knowing. When you just know, it's a place of greatness. It's a seed of greatness to just know. You are great at living life. You really are. When you activate tranquility, however, at the expense of another, be aware. Do not create for yourself tranquility, so-called, at the expense of another. That's not tranquility. Tranquility is never at the expense of something. Never. So be aware. Taking from others to make you feel good, taking from others so that you can feel good is never an option here. There is respect only. And there's no respect in such demeanor to take from others. Truth is always consensus. Not rightness, consensus. We have truth, we agree. When we share truth, the results reward us. The results speak. We cannot order it. Just like this man talking about presence last night in the Jung class nogal. I mean, I was totally gobsmacked, flabbergasted. I know that's a horrible term, but I was. I was totally flabbergasted. Imagine being smacked by a gob. So, you know, the things we used to describe things on our mother tongue, it's ridiculous. And then we think of those terms as describing wonderfully what we mean, gobsmacked. Oh my God, it's gross. So, you know, when we share truth, results reward us, and you cannot order it. It's Nosy always says you cannot order this. It's a language of synchronicity, validation that just cannot be explained. And that's really what Sunday Energizer is about, because I just want to plant the seed of greatness with you to know this and to find this within yourself. And I only ask for an hour and a half twice a month to come sit with me and to share the space with people that you care about, because I want to share the message. That's it. It's free. I'm not asking for any investment. I'm making it available. Pure synchronicity is not in algorithms. It is a language spoken by truth, confirming, validating, proved if you like. Proved if you like. We deal here with feelings. Your feelings dictate your permission. Your feelings dictate your permission. Your patience, your tolerance, and your capacity. Your feelings dictate your patience, your tolerance, and your capacity. And all of life is about feeling. You're never going to get away from it. People attempt to get away from feeling things today by taking a lot of medication, because a lot of medication takes away your ability to feel with intensity especially. So I'm not knocking it, please. It's your privilege and your right. But I'm saying that is the result that we're looking at. We're only dealing with the result. Now, we deal here with feelings. Accept that today. And accept that you perhaps hold the potential for very intense feelings. And when you feel something, you feel it. It's not wishy-washy. It's, I feel it. No? So your feelings dictate your permission. Patience, tolerance, capacity. What is capacity? It's the amount with which you can receive. Very often there are people who have huge demands about what they want to receive, but their actual capacity is a little thimble. But they want a lot of stuff. This is the size of the bottle of champagne that they have capacity for, but they want a magnum. Just using champagne as an example, not because I think this was what was on my desk. So, again, nothing can happen without your permission, with your willingness, with your buy-in, with your say-so. When you undertake a journey of consistent self-inquiry, it needs to be consistent as a life path, because it's the self-inquiry here that allows you to remember the truth about who you be. Because we are born in forgetfulness. And as to the why of it, I really have no idea. I'm looking at that as a question that I received recently. Why are we born into forgetfulness? But I don't have an answer yet. I've asked. But the inquiry, the inquiry as a life path is not negotiable, and it's a priority in the times that we're living in. And here's an opportunity, 2 Energizers a month, to give yourself that opportunity to invest in your growth, like you're doing here today. Like you're doing here today. Let's look now at how potent your permission is when it comes to change, to radical change. Mostly because change drops in unannounced. That's how change happens. It's fucking unannounced. Huh? Don't think that you're going to prepare for change. It drops in unannounced, and we resist it when it happens because change is uncomfortable. For me, change is uncomfortable. Sometimes even when it's good change, it's very uncomfortable. It used to be extremely uncomfortable for me to receive. What is the prime motivator for change in this physical reality? I teach that in Gift of Life, life process right at the start. What is the primary motivator for change in this physical reality? Conflict. Conflict. Can I just check in quickly? Do I still have an audience, or am I talking to myself? Because I'm just looking at myself on the screen. Sorry, thank you. Sorry is present. Lovely. So let's revisit change, because it's necessary to go and look at this thing that we resist so much, because change never happens the way we think. Thanks, Nicholas, Melissa, appreciate. So let's revisit change. Kate, thank you. So let's revisit change. Change represents conflict of sorts. Always starts with conflict. So just get used to that. It's the way it works. Anna, lovely new name. Love that. Change represents conflict of sorts. Not necessarily. Change requires a form of discontinue. And it's the discontinue that we're in conflict with, not the change. Because in order for change to happen, we must discontinue. Not discontinuation, not the deed. Discontinue as a noun, as a thing that sits there, that umbrellas. It is the bigger picture. Discontinue. Just discontinue. Stop. End. Complete. When change is real, something ends and something new begins. That's what change means. Something has discontinued, it's ended, finished, done and dusted. Something new begins. That's change. And that requires utmost permission. Utmost. You know how much energy it takes for you to begin something. I mean, I'm talking to you now. Just to begin. And remember, I teach best, but I need to learn most. Just to begin. I mean, that's why we procrastinate, because the thought to begin is just too much. We can't give permission for it. It feels completely overwhelming. How the fuck am I supposed to do this? Huh? You ask of yourself. Because it looks like you've got to climb out Mount Everest. Because that's what crisis does. And it's crisis that brings us to change, because we refuse to change, because we resist it too much. So we wait for crisis, and then we give ourselves permission to move into action, because then we experience our greatness. What a wonderful way to do this life. You can experience your greatness anyhow. But give permission to begin. That's where you procrastinate, because you are too afraid to begin, because it feels too big and too much, and I don't feel like it now, and I'll do it tomorrow, and And what does begin stand for? Be great infinitely so. Begin. Throw yourself in. It's not going to happen for you. Nothing, no one can chew your food for you. Think of that, how gross is that as a thought? Huh? Although our parents did it for us when we were babies, I suppose. Oh, I'm thinking such gross thoughts this morning. Gobsmacked still sits with me. Yeah. So give permission to begin. I'm almost done. I just want to talk to you about one last thing about permission. This is a real one. And one that I often sit and have difficulty with. In myself still. And that's the permission for other people's approval. Because, seeking approval from others is to seek permission from them that you are okay. That who you are is enough. That what you do is you know that your best is somehow given permission by them through their approval that it's okay. That's not how it works. You don't need approval. Do not seek for approval in others because there's really no strength in it. And social media is all about the approval of other people. I've got over 3,000 people on my cosmic page and about 2.5 or 1,500 people at least on my personal page. These are all people that I don't even know. And because I only get 3 or 4 likes on my page, I think, these people really don't approve of what I'm sharing. And then I remind myself, because this is the truth, why I'm sharing. It's not because I want to be famous or be approved of. I'm putting a thought out in the universe that comes from my heart, that comes from within. I'm not doing it on social media because I want followers. That's why I left Twitter. And I once got a repost from Justin Bieber on Twitter. I was quite popular. And I was on Twitter right from when it started. But I left it because I wasn't there to have followers. That was just against my truth. And I still have profiles on Twitter today. I don't even have the passwords anymore. But I'm not living for other people's approval. I'm here because I have truth to share. And I share it because it's free. And I'm giving it to you as my gift. There's no copyright on this. It's the truth. It's eternal laws. That's what I'm here to teach. To remember the eternal laws of the cosmos so that we can be free to live them. So I want to thank you for being here this morning, and I want to encourage you with this session this morning to give permission to risk being true and being real and adolescence, and to give your supreme self-aliveness joy to be and to live life, because really it's a process of joy. So up vibe yourself. It's Kira's word, up vibe. I love that word. I made such nice coffee. It must be Asco. Kira's wonderful word is up vibe. So up vibe, enjoy, and up vibe yourself going forward from today until we meet again. And have an absolutely marvelous Mother's Day. It's been such an amazing Mother's Day. The gift I received from Kate, she was so excited when she delivered it to me yesterday, and I was feeling so deeply honored. And I opened the gift this morning, and it was a symbol. It wasn't a gift. Kate, this is a symbol. I have no idea. I am so thrilled. Thank you. I can see why you were so excited, because it was really a gift from your soul. I want to share this little book with you next time. It's called Bringers of the Light, and it's a book that I found in my library here. by the author of Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh. And I just briefly paged through it. It's the most wonderful, wonderful little book. Observe opposition and call it opportunity. Amazing. Listen to that. Observe opposition and call it opportunity. What a wonderful thought.